So a lot of you guys hit me up in the comments and in the DMs asking me to show my process of how I mix beats inside of Beatmaker 3. Well, I hate to disappoint you guys. I don't really add that many plugins and stuff, so it might be a little unpleasant on the eyes. But as long as it sounds good, that's all that matters. So let's get to it. Bolo! All right, before we get started, make sure you subscribe, make sure you comment, and please turn on those post notifications so you will know the next time I have another video available. And if you like this video, please hit that thumbs up. If you do not like this video, please hit that thumbs down. You guys know as well as I know, I really don't care. So a lot of y'all guys want to see how I mix my beats from out of Beatmaker 3, and basically there's two ways you can do it. You can either mix it inside of the program, or you can bounce everything down and put it in your favorite DAW and mix it that way. But a lot of times I just like to mix it inside of Beatmaker 3 because it's just as good as mix it in any DAW. Now, the only thing about mixing inside of Beatmaker 3 is you got to make sure that you have an iPad that is strong enough to hold some of the plugins that I'm using today, because I love FabFilter plugins. They are incredible, and I use them on every single mix that I do on Beatmaker 3. So you have to make sure, number one, to have a strong enough iPad, and number two, to make sure they have the FabFilter stuff. But if you do not have FabFilter, they have a lot of great plugins like the tone boosters and even the plugins that are built into Beatmaker 3 as well. So let's go ahead and get to the mix. I'm gonna show you what I did. It's not too much. I add a few plugins on there, but basically it is all about leveling. That's pretty much about it. So let's go ahead and get to the tutorial, and hope you guys enjoy it. So let's get to it right now. So the first thing we're gonna do is let's go ahead and play the track. Very simple beat. All right, sounds pretty cool, but it definitely needs to sound better. So the first thing that I always do is I try to get a good level with what I already have already. I don't put anything on none of the tracks. The only thing that has an effect on it is my tag right now. It just has a delay effect on it. Other than that, everything else is dry as it was coming out of the VST, or the drums are just dry. So the first thing I do is I just try to get a good level of the sounds. So let's go ahead and get like a nice little level of the sounds, and then we'll come back and I'll play everything back for you. All right, so got a nice level of the tracks, nothing too intricate. I just turned a few things up and a few things down. And I want to say this as well. Let me tell y'all something. All right, so I want y'all to listen very, very carefully. Mixing is subjective, which means that just because you might not like the mix doesn't mean that somebody else doesn't like the mix. So that means that even if there's a mix that you like, somebody else might not like it. And even if there's a mix that you don't like, somebody might like it. At the end of the day, mixing is subjective. There's no right or wrong way. This is just the way how I do it, and it might be a different way how you do it. There's no right or wrong way. There's kind of a standard, but at the end of the day, there's no right or wrong way, okay? So just work on your craft and work on your sound. Right now, I have a nice good level of how I want the sounds to be, and let's play that back right now. All right, so as you can see, sounds pretty cool, but it needs a few things. It's a few areas that I want to tackle, and the main thing for me is the drums, the claps, the kick, the bass, and the hi-hats. And what I want to do is I want to cut things out that I do not need so everything can kind of fit in the track and sound a little bit better, especially if you're going to put any type of compression on the master bus, any type of limitation, because what happens is when you put compression and limitation on that master bus, it pulls up things that you really don't want to hear. So you want to try to cut as much stuff out, but you want to leave the beef of the track in there, especially when you're doing it on Beatmaker, because a lot of you guys have been saying, hey, my beat's coming out really thin in Beatmaker. I don't know about all that, but I'm going to show you guys how I do it. So the first thing I'm going to focus on is the kick and the bass. And I'm going to show you a trick with the Fab Filter EQ that I really like. And I'm going to tell you something. The Fab Filter EQ, exceptional. So if you don't have the Fab Filter bundle for the iPad, you need to go ahead and get it. So let me show you something right now. So first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to solo out the bass, and the bass is right here. And let's go ahead and find a loop point in here where the bass is playing. So let's go right here and let's just solo it and let's just loop real quick. So, oh, wrong one. All right, so let's go ahead and play the bass. Does not sound bad, but the good thing about the Fab Filter EQ is that it has this feature on here where it basically can solo out the frequencies and you'll be able to hear the unwanted frequencies. It kind of inverts like the EQ. I can't really explain it, but it's super dope. Let me show it to you real quick. So I'm gonna go right here to my effects, audio unit, and we're going to scroll down and we're going to pick the Pro Q3 and show that. And it doesn't matter if you're using the 2 or the 3, but I know with anything on the iPad, they're going to use the newest one, so you can use the Pro Q3. You can do this on the Pro Q2 as well if you have that for your computer. So let's go into here and let's scroll down and let me just do a low cut. And basically it's going to cut everything below this right here. And let me show you the good part about this. So we can play the bass right now. Let's play it. So as you can see, I've filtered out some of the lower frequencies, but there's actually a trick that we can use in the Fab Filter. What I do is I click on here and I go ahead and I press this right here. It's the headphone. Now, I'm gonna drag this all the way over. When I click on this headphone, I'm gonna drag it all the way over right here. When I press play, you'll be able to hear all the bass notes, but the lower and lower I go down, you will actually not hear the bass anymore. When you don't hear it, that's how you know that you're cutting out enough of the rumble that is in the bass. So let me show you real quick. So let's go ahead and play it. So now when I click the headphones, you see how it sounds now. When I click on this now, you hear all that. So that's the bass that we like. So let's keep pulling it down. Keep going. Now we're getting a little deeper. Keep going. Now we're getting to the unwanted stuff. So the more and more we go down, we hear all the unwanted stuff that we don't want. And what I like to do is I like to pull it down to right when I barely can hear anything. About right there at around 27 hertz. So I can turn this off, and there we go. And so when we turn this on and off, let's go ahead and see how it sounds. It sounds just as good, but now we don't have none of the unwanted frequencies that we don't need. That's just gonna muddy up our mix. Simple trick. All right, so now we're in the kick. We're gonna do the exact same thing. Let's go down here. Let's do a low cut, and let's go and solo this kick real quick. And let's play that. All right, so we just got the kick sounding pretty good. So now let's listen to the kick and the bass together. Now, the good thing about this is you can be very subjective with the kick and the bass. Some people like the kick to be really high. Some people like the kick to be low and they want the bass to kind of shine. It is basically up to your taste. In this track, I actually like the kick to be kind of high a little bit. So I'm gonna leave it just like that. And I like how it sounds. So I'm actually gonna go through and do the same method with the hi-hat and the claps. All right, so we got that done. So let's go ahead and listen to everything. And I think it might sound pretty cool, but let me just check just this main sound real quick. And let me put a Pro Q3 on this as well, just so we can get some of the stuff that we don't need in there. And as you see, most of the frequencies are up around this range around here. So we're just gonna go ahead and just cut all the stuff we really don't need. So let's go ahead and play that. Sounds good to me. So actually sounds pretty cool. I think I might add one more thing to the actual sound. A lot of people like to add different things like reverbs and delays to their sounds. Now, if you can actually add this stuff inside of your actual instrument, it's actually better because you won't be using so many plugins. If you can add it inside of the instrument, that's even cool. It's actually a little bit better because you won't be using so much processing power. I don't really use this instrument that much, and I'm not going to sit here and take all day trying to figure this out. So I'm going to add just a little bit of reverb, and I'm going to actually use a reverb that I like a lot, and that is the Tone Boosters reverb. Tone Boosters reverb is very good, and it's going to add a little bit on there, not too much. Sounds pretty good. That reverb is super dope. I love tone booster stuff as well. Fab filter, tone boosters, I did a great job. So now let's go ahead and hear everything together in the track. Now, the only thing I don't like about this is I feel that the bass can be a little more dirtier. So I'm actually thinking of adding, let me try something. Let's go into here and let's add this beautiful plugin called Lo-Fi Dirt. And let's load that up and let's just see how it sounds on the bass. Oh yeah, that really did it. Lo-Fi Dirt is I'm telling you, it's a crazy plugin for any iOS software. It will beef up stuff really quickly. So we actually got to turn that bass down a little bit. But as you can see, all I did was just put it on the plugin. So let's kind of play with it and see how it sounds. Wow, that sounds really good. Now, another thing is we don't necessarily have to just use Lo-Fi Dirt. We can actually use this right here. We can actually go right into our sampler and we can actually just saturate the bass as well. So let's play that. Personally, I think the Lo-Fi Dirt sounds better. So let's go ahead and add that back in there. And pretty much that's it. Now, I did add a delay to my tag. It was just a regular delay that came inside of Beatmaker 3. I'm gonna turn that up just a little bit. And then from now, as you can see, we, on our main output, we're not even peaking. So let's play that. And so as you can see, we're not peaking. That's pretty cool. So I actually have it on just like the classic, just leveling. But if you want to really kind of see if it's, peaking or whatever, or what your RMS is, we have a different metering mode and we can actually set this to RMS so you can see what the averages are and we can play that back. And the RMS is about -9, somewhere around there, but I like to use a different mode of metering. I like to use LUFS because it gives you like a true peak. So I'm actually going to turn this back on to normal. And what do I use on my master bus? I use two things on my master bus. Basically, it is all fab filter. One thing I like to use some form of compression. I use the multi-band compressor. And what I like to do is I go to the basic 3-band setting. Some people use other stuff. This is what I basically use. So I'm gonna play it. I like to kind of kiss the bass and kiss the mid-range and high end, just kind of give it more tighter feel to the track. All right, that's pretty much it for that. And then from there, I go ahead and I add one of the best limiters on the market, and that is the Pro L2. Transparency is crazy on this. What I like to do first is I like to change this from short term to integrated, and I turn the output to -0.2 or about -0.3. -2, -3, all the same thing. I'm gonna leave my attack and my release the same. They have a really good style on here. I like to keep it on modern, and I'm just gonna turn the gain up till I get the level that I want. I generally do not like it to go no more than about -3 dB or -4 dB, -5 sometimes. I try to make sure that I can kind of get it around -9 LUFS, because that's gonna be pretty loud. So let's go ahead and do that. Yeah, late addition to the video. I didn't record this when I was actually doing the original video, but you might want to turn your speakers down because it might get a little loud, because I'm going to be turning the gain up on the limiter. Yeah, so turn your speakers down. All right, so we got a few peaks that hit around like -8, -9. So right now, the average LUFS is maybe around -9, -10, which is loud enough for beats. So basically, that is it. That's how I mix my tracks. I don't use too many plugins. I like to just pick really good sounds, and that's all you pretty much have to do, is just pick really good sounds and put a little EQ, a little compression, and some limitation, and that's pretty much how I mix my beats. All right, you guys, so there it is. That's how I mix my beats. Hope you guys enjoyed everything. If you guys need any help, hit me up in the DMs or hit me up in the comment section. I'll try to help you out. And if you guys have some pointers for me, please help me out, because I always like when y'all guys give me some good pointers. Some of you guys give some okay pointers, but I love when you guys give me some pointers. I really appreciate that. And make sure you guys get my new drum kits as well. November 1st, that's when the prices are going back up to regular prices. Everything right now is half off. Go ahead and get them. I'm gonna have another drum kit coming soon, but probably like beginning of next year. But if you don't have the No Limitations kit or the Bolo 2020 kit, make sure you guys get it. And make sure you guys click on all the stuff I got inside the description. Make sure you get a Splice account, super dope. Make sure you guys get a DistroKid account, super dope. I'm telling you, DistroKid is doing a lot of new stuff. Get that. And I hope you guys enjoyed the tutorial. So hope you guys enjoyed it. Hope you guys learned something from it. And like I always say, peace out.